Unidentified gunmen and suicide bombers raided a Sikh religious complex in the Afghan capital of Kabul on Wednesday, trapping up to 200 people and inflicting casualties before the security forces killed the attackers, the government said. Sikhs have been the target of attack by Islamist militants before in South Asia. A Taliban spokesman, in a message on Twitter, denied responsibility for the attack. Interior Ministry spokesman Tariq Aryan said in a message to journalists the operation by the security forces to defeat the attackers was over and all of them had been killed. Unfortunately, there are casualties, he said. He did not give details. A Ministry of Health spokesman said one child had been killed and 15 people wounded, but the toll could rise. The attack comes a day after the United States said it would cut aid to the government by $1 billion over frustrations that feuding political leaders could not reach agreement and form a team to negotiate with the Taliban. Narendra Singh Khalsa, a member of parliament who represents the tiny Sikh community, said earlier he had reports that 4 people had been killed and up to 200 people had been trapped in the temple in the early morning attack. 3 suicide bombers entered a dharamshala, he said, referring to a sanctuary area in a temple compound. The gunmen started their attack at a time when the dharamshala was full of worshippers, he said. An official with Afghanistan's NATO mission said the response to the attack had been led and executed by Afghan forces, but they had received some advice and assistance from NATO. Afghanistan's Sikh community numbers fewer than 300 families. In the late 1980s, there were about 500,000 Sikhs scattered across Afghanistan, many from families that had been there for generations, but most fled after years of civil war and the rise of the Taliban. Sikhs are among religious minorities eligible for citizenship in India under a controversial law introduced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party. Human rights activists and countries including the United States, India and Pakistan condemned the attack. We are shocked and disheartened. The authorities have a responsibility to protect minorities and their places of worship in Afghanistan, Amnesty International South Asia said on Twitter. In 2018, a suicide bombing targeting the Sikh community and claimed by the Islamic State militant group killed more than a dozen people in the eastern Afghan city of Jalalabad. The United States last month struck a deal with the Taliban on the withdrawal of US-led international troops, but the agreement does not include Islamic State militants.